women in Ukraine have expectations. We've been talking about some of the things that women expect, right? They want a healthy-minded guy. They want a good guy who's emotionally balanced, someone who has good relationships with his friends and his family, someone who likes his job, somebody who's definitely romantic, a little bit playful and spontaneous. I'm going to tell you some things that Ukrainian women really hate, just so you can get to know them, just so you can understand the culture. And then I'm going to tell you some things that Ukrainian women really love, really important. So what do Ukrainian women hate? They absolutely hate the way they're portrayed by this industry, and I don't blame them. We do our very, very best to treat the women with tremendous respect, and we put forth, a great effort, a tremendous effort compared to a lot of people out there, that's for sure, and the women certainly recognize that. They hate the idea of being thought of as poor and desperate, trying to get out of their country, trying to get a green card. I did a seminar on Saturday here in Phoenix. One of the first questions somebody asked me is, why are they so desperately trying to get out of their country and get a green card and come to America? And that's completely ridiculous. It really is. It's interesting that that's such a popular comment, such a popular idea out on the internet, but it's a popular idea that's driven by men who just don't understand the culture, who have never been to Ukraine and just look at this thing from a very slanted point of view. They don't like the idea that they're projected as being, women with no expectations. They'll marry anybody. They'll settle for anything. That definitely isn't true either. Women in Ukraine have expectations. We've been talking about some of the things that women expect, right? They want a healthy-minded guy. They want a good guy who's emotionally balanced, someone who has good relationships with his friends and his family, someone who likes his job, somebody who's definitely romantic, a little bit playful and spontaneous, someone who's definitely family-oriented, monogamous, etc. Those things are very, very important. And quite frankly, they want to be attracted to their partner. They're not going to date somebody they're not attracted to. They won't marry just anyone. The idea that they will just marry anybody, again, they kind of detest that whole stereotype. They don't like the idea that they have no problem with the numbers game, right? That they're presented as, the women don't mind if the guys come to Ukraine and date 30 women. They have no problem with that. That's not really true. And to be honest with you, the women would much rather come to a social where there were 30 women and 300 men. They would, if the truth is being told. But that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And men will come to Ukraine. They've come a long way. The men are visitors in this country, and they will date a few women. I don't know if they'll date 30, but they'll date 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 or something like that. They'll do it with respect. Some dates are just coffee dates after all, right? Some dates are just coffee. Some dates are dessert. Some dates are bowling and pizza. You're having bowling and pizza a couple of times. The women definitely don't like the idea that this whole industry is selling the numbers, right? There are millions of lonely women trying to meet somebody, and they're all poor and desperate, and they'll marry anybody just to get out of their difficult, life circumstances. The whole idea they want a better life, and that's why they're here. I believe a number of them do want a better life, but I think front and center in that whole idea of a better life is I want a guy. I want a guy to lean on. I want a guy to give my love to who's loving me. I want that love relationship to be the center of my life. They don't like the stereotypes of local men. We talked about that in a recent webcast, didn't we? They don't like the idea that Ukrainian men are presented as being, alcoholic men, abusive men. Certainly alcoholism and a certain amount of abuse is prevalent in the culture, but the women understand why it happens. The women understand what drives those behaviors. The lack of ability to earn income, the lack of good men raising their sons to be good men. And the women don't like the idea that foreigners come to Ukraine and judge the men and judge the women through the men. So we have to be careful when we talk about our stereotypes of local men. I can tell you that most Ukrainian women feel sorry for their local men. They may not want to date them, and they may not want to marry them, and it may be difficult for them to find a good, well-rounded, well-balanced husband, but they understand the problems in their culture really, really well. And of course, they hate the whole idea of, you're just desperately trying to get out of Ukraine, come to America, get a green card, etc. That whole idea to Ukrainian women is just complete nonsense. Anybody who immigrates to America is going to need a green card, or you can't do anything. You can't drive, you can't work, you can't open a bank account. You can't do stuff here that you could easily do in your country back there, wherever there is. And a green card allows you to do stuff that human beings can do in this culture, and you need it. It's an essential part of your being here. But women in Ukraine hate the whole idea that this whole idea of trying to find a husband, fall in love, and start a family is green card driven. And frankly, I don't blame them, because it's way off. Quite frankly, it's way, way off.
Check out our website at
ukraineladies.com.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.